Welcome to the Pathways to Profitability podcast, personal tales of business success, where we hear local business owners' personal stories of their trials and tribulations that got them to where they are today. Here's your host, Cheryl Mucha, CEO of CFO Your Way.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for the Pathways to Profitability podcast. Our guest today is Zach Kramer from Progressive Payment Solutions, second generation part of the company. Super excited to hear his story and all about the company. Zach, welcome so much. Thank you so much for being here today with us.
Yeah, thank you, Cheryl. It's really a pleasure to be on the podcast.
So I like to start with just a little background for our audience. Tell us a little bit about Progressive Payment Solutions. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get into the family dynamic and all that stuff.
Absolutely. So I'll start with Progressive Payment Solutions as a whole. Progressive Payment Solutions was founded back in 2004 by my father, Jonathan. Back then, I think I was probably 10 or 11 years old. But it was very cool to see him start the business in our living room and grow it to what it is today. Now, me personally, I always envisioned a different life for myself. I actually went to school for finance, and I really wasn't expecting to be involved in the business. What happened was I had a few internships with various different banks like Morgan Stanley and companies like that. And I kind of decided, I wasn't really loving it. It really wasn't for me, more of a hobby than something I really wanted to do. So one summer, which was my junior, going into senior year, I had to stay at school to take an extra class. And by the time I got home, there was only a couple weeks of summer left. So I didn't really know what to do. And my father, Jonathan, said, "Hey, why don't you come work with me for a few weeks, see if you like it. You'll earn a couple dollars before you go back to school for your senior year." And that's what I did. And I just really enjoyed my few weeks with him. And I said, you know what? I think when I graduate, since the finance thing is not really for me, I'm going to spend a couple months in the office and see if it's something I want to do. And here we are 4 years later, still here.
That's so interesting. So, a finance background, I
Yep.
think, converts to pretty much any career.
Yeah.
So how do you see using your finance background in the business?
Sure. So um, there's a couple different ways. So the first is whenever I'm drawing up proposals, there is a lot of math involved with that. Not so much in a traditional finance matter, but we have to look at these proposals, and it can be difficult at times. The credit card proposals, they're almost like looking at a phone bill. They're kind of hard to understand. So it did take me a year or two to figure out what I was looking at.
They don't make
And
it easy, right?
yeah, exactly. And something that we're good at here, it took me a little bit of time, is we are very good at explaining these proposals to our prospects and explaining exactly what these random numbers mean and how it's going to affect their business. So that definitely is one way that being in finance has helped me in this industry.
So there's so many ways we can go here, but let's talk first a little bit about Progressive Payments, what you do with your clients, and what kind of industries you're in, and like just define for the audience who an ideal client might be.
Sure. So first, what we do here is merchant services and credit card processing. So any business looking to accept credit cards or looking to save money on their current credit card processing, that's our bread and butter. That's what we do here. So the businesses that we work with are a little bit different than the traditional credit card processor. Typically, you're thinking, restaurant, retail, businesses like that. We actually are more in the B2B and professional service space. So we do a lot of attorneys, we do a lot of CPAs, wholesalers, manufacturers, distributors, businesses like that. That's really our niche. And recently, we've also been dealing with a lot of doctors' offices, mostly specialty doctors that are not part of a larger group. So we do a lot of plastic surgeons, dentists, doctors like that.
Okay, good. And okay, so let's switch gears a little bit. And I love to talk about, the multi-generational businesses. And, I know your father, Jonathan, very well. So I
Yep.
know, um, he actually introduced me to you and your brother. Let's talk a little bit about the family dynamic. I know it's not always easy to work in a family atmosphere like that,
Yep.
but you know, typically the second generation or the next generation brings an entirely different viewpoint to the table, whether it's technology, whether it's interaction with your clients or customers. So is there something in particular that stands out to you that like you brought to the table, even though the business was established?
Yeah, so that's actually a very good point that you bring up because recently we went through a pretty large change here in the office that did take a little bit of convincing. Um, but essentially, our entire business model prior to myself and my brother being here was that all new business was from networking and referrals. There was almost no other marketing going on other than that. So when I got here, something that I personally implemented was our online presence, and not just talking about social media or anything like that, but also our website and SEO. So, now we do a lot of YouTube videos, we do a lot of blogging, we answer questions that really no other credit card processor is willing to answer, and we do that on our blogs. We also do a little bit of SEO, things like that. And we just launched probably about 6 months ago, so we haven't really seen the payoff of those efforts yet. But it did take me about a year and a half to put all that into place. So it's exciting for me to see the ball rolling and how it plays out.
Yeah, that's the way, that's the way of the future. It's
Yep.
the video and the more personal interaction, whether it's on social media or your website. And it, to your point, it takes time to get going, to get the audience and to get the engagement. But that you started it is, the first step, right?
Absolutely. And, something else is just getting out there, being online as much as possible, doing podcasts like this. It really does help. And it's unbelievable. It truly is.
So we're going to switch gears a little bit. I know your father was great influence for you, but was there someone else in your life that you can say, this person gave me the push or the vision to walk down this career path?
Sure. So I would say the one of the biggest business influences that I had is actually my grandfather. So he's an interesting character. He's 86 years old and he still works full time. He owns his own business.
Nice.
Prior to COVID, his background is in the food industry,
Okay.
more like fancy foods, wholesale, things like that. And prior to the pandemic, so he would be 84, 85, he would travel almost every week to a different country. This
Oh,
is an
wow.
85-year-old man still working full time, still going to China, Germany, Italy,
How
almost
exciting
every
though,
week.
right?
It's very inspirational for me. And he's not working because he has to. He's doing it because he truly wants to. He truly loves what he does. And for me, that was very important when choosing a career path. I was a little bit nervous when I got here. Am I going to be burnt out in a year or two? Is it something I really am going to like doing? And I can honestly say it really is. I mean, every day I'm out meeting amazing people. I get to help them and their business, and I get to watch their businesses grow with the money that we save them on credit card processing. So it really is awesome.
That's a great story. And,
Yeah,
I live by the premise that you have to love what you do because we spend so much time, effort, and energy doing whatever our job or our career is. So why not love it?
absolutely. That's what I'm saying.
So your grandfather's doing it right.
Yeah, he really is.
So, in your own words, tell me how you define business success. Is it a personal success? Is it like you just mentioned about seeing your clients grow? Just kind of give me a little bit of a your own personal, the exact
Sure.
definition of business success.
So, everybody talks about success either being, monetary value or perhaps, you know, generational wealth or passing the business on or whatever. My definition of business success is when you have a defined goal for your business, like your actual mission statement. If you can meet that mission statement, then your business is successful, in my personal opinion. It doesn't have to be a monetary value. It can just be if you have a mission, you're completing that mission, then you're successful in what you're doing.
I love that because so many people tie success to the dollar
Exactly.
and how big that dollar, how many zeros can be after, and how
Yeah.
many commas are in that number. So I love that definition of business success.
I just think that if you are completing your mission that you set out to do, the dollars will follow.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely, 'cause part of that is surrounding yourself with the right people and those people supporting you.
absolutely.
So what is do you I don't want you to recite it, but the basic mission statement of Progressive Payment Solutions.
So our tagline is savings. It's not if, it's how much. And we we don't necessarily have a written statement, but what I interpret it as and what we've discussed in the office is helping other businesses grow through savings on their credit card processing. And an example I like to give is we have a program called cash discounting where our clients could save up to 100% on their processing fees. So we have a local pizzeria that we implemented this program on, and we were able to save them $2,000 to $3,000 a month. Now, this is a small local business, so $2,000 to $3,000 a month for them is truly
It's a
life
lot.
changing.
Yeah, over the
So,
course of the year, it's significant.
absolutely. So, what they did was they actually upgraded one of their ovens to a brick oven. And just by doing that, their business has increased, I mean, almost tenfold. It's unbelievable. Not to mention, I'm there all the time. The pizza's incredible.
Good pizza, huh?
I'm just checking in on the client. Nothing to see here.
Yeah, and, to that point too, I see all the time, like, clients or people that I talk to, they're so focused on, like, this particular cost or this particular savings, and they don't have the vision of, like, the snowball effect of that, like you just said, the what seemingly small amount maybe over the course of the year, it's pretty significant, obviously. What you can do with that money to make it work for your business, to make your business
Absolutely.
get to the next level and for you to reach, it goes back to your goals, like to reach your goals.
And that's actually something we do with all of our proposals. Uh, because of my finance background, we actually include a forecasting of what they can do with the savings And actually, we include what the future value is of those savings over a period of 5 to 10 years. So they
Right.
can truly see what the actual savings is going to be.
Yeah. That's, I mean, that's unbelievable because you're coming at it from, having that conversation with the client or the potential client, like, what's your hopes and dreams, and how can what we're presenting to you help you get there?
Exactly.
So I was going to ask you what motivates you, but I'm sure that's a pretty big motivator for you, is to see, I always, that light bulb moment, right? When the light bulb goes
Exactly. When
on.
I can see on my client's face after the first couple months that, hey, we actually are saving this money. It's not just uh, a bag of goods that somebody sold me. That's what really makes me smile. And just helping these clients get to the next level in their business, because it's when you're dealing with other people's money, it's not about us. It's truly, truly about them and what we can do to help them.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And I
Yep.
love the it's not just that narrow view. It's a really a global, very, very expanded view of each and every business.
Yep.
So tell the audience a little bit about maybe your an incentive or a reason to reach out to you to have a conversation. You touched on the zero cost processing solutions. Is there something else you want to share with the audience?
So I think the biggest thing to talk about is the zero fee processing solution, because that really is life changing for so many businesses. Essentially, it's now legal to pass the credit card fee on to the customer if you're doing it in a compliant manner through your processor. So I would say that if a business is looking to make a change, especially because it's the new year is coming up, we're still in this pandemic. Businesses really need to cut costs wherever they can. I would say now is the time to call about that specific program.
Yeah, everyone joins the gym on January 1st, right? So why not look at
Exactly.
your business from a different perspective? And it's a conversation. It's an
Yeah,
it's a it's a little bit of a time investment. There's only savings down the road. There's no cost.
exactly, and that's something we also tell our clients. It's just your time. That's it. There's no cost to signing up. It's just filling out the application and actually taking the next step to get there.
Great. So let's shift gears a little bit and talk about Zach as a person outside of work. What is your go-to thing when you're not working? Where do you find your work-life balance?
Sure. So, funny enough, I actually every day after work to decompress, I like to go to the gym. I like to work out. I typically go, usually an hour, and then after the gym, I do probably about a 10 to 15 minute meditation session just to really decompress myself. Um, so that really helps a lot. But then I would say on the weekends, what I typically like to do is anything related to my hands. So I'm very into automobiles. I work on a lot of my own cars. I like to help my friends fix their cars and do stuff like that.
Oh, nice. So
Yeah.
I love the meditation workout and meditation. I've been trying for years to make that a priority in my life and my work-life balance, and
Yep.
that's always the thing that, and I know how important it is, but it's always the thing that's like, "I'll do it later, I'll do it later, I'll do it later," but I love that you have that set routine, because I
Yeah.
think
Well,
that's what it's about.
it took a long time to get that routine down. I really had to I actually put it in my calendar. It kind of forced me to do it because if it wasn't going to be in the calendar, it wasn't going to get done.
Right.
So once I had it in the calendar, I really sat down or got up and went to the gym, did my meditation. That's when the ball started rolling.
Right.
And I think they say it takes 20 to 30 days for
Yeah.
a routine to become part of your life. And
Right.
I would say for me, it probably took a little longer, but we got it done.
Yeah, and it's we have to make those appointments for ourselves and block that time out of our calendars. It's so important to have that me time
Absolutely.
and make it a priority.
I put everything in my calendar. If I'm going to hang out with some friends, I'll even put that in the calendar just so I don't forget.
And get those 15-minute reminders, right?
Yeah.
So is there anything else you wanted to share with our audience before we wrap up?
Um, I would say the most important thing, it's the end of the year. I would say focus on yourself. Really try to focus on yourself, because once you're focused on yourself and your personal goals, everything else will fall into place.
I love that. I love that. And, what better time to do that is in December as we're wrapping up the year and reflecting on the year. I
Mhm.
know for some people, this year was really tough, but just to reset ourselves going into the new year.
Absolutely.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Zach, for being here. All of your contact information and whatnot will be in the show notes so that everyone will be able to reach out to you. If you want to just give us your website so they can find you.
Oh, sure. It's www.progressivepayment.com. No S at the end. We get that a lot.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Zach, for being here and taking the time today. I know our audience is going to love hearing your story because every story is unique and has its own little,
Yeah.
bits and pieces to it. So thank you. I
Well,
appreciate
I
it.
really appreciate you having me on today. Thank you, Cheryl.
So for our audience, thank you so much for being here today. Be sure to subscribe and stay connected to all the upcoming guests on the podcast, and look forward to future episodes of Pathways to Profitability podcast. Thank you and be well.
That's it for today's episode of Pathways to Profitability. Remember to ask yourself, where can I pay my success forward today?